Hey, what's up, guys? This is Christian Brindle, and today we're going to be talking about how Medicare agents can fully maximize and take advantage of the OEP. Let's get right into it. OEP standing for Open Enrollment Period. Now, some of you newbies might be thinking, well, I thought the Open Enrollment Period was in the fall. Well, not necessarily. The Open Enrollment Period, by definition, is January 1st through March 31st. Now, the annual election period is what takes place in the fall. Most of you already know this. This is October 15th through December 7th. That is the annual election period. It is really, truth be told, by definition, all of its characteristics are the open enrollment period for the most part. It's just weird, wacky government terminology, all right? So if you're a newbie and you're confused, there you go. There's your explanation. Now, what is open enrollment? What is OEP? What can you do? What can you not do? Let's start off the video by talking about that. Before I jump into it too much, though, guys, I just got to let you know. So this is my new home office studio. Still working on a few kinks of it, right? Like the lighting. I know the lighting's a little off on this video particularly, so patience with us. We're going to get this figured out in terms of the lighting of it, but we had to bring you guys fresh new content right at the beginning of the year, and I'm really excited to do so. So OEP, guys, January 1 through March 31st, you can make a change to someone that already has a Medicare Advantage plan. You can't change somebody that's on original Medicare with a PDP unless they qualify for some other special enrollment period or something like that, but you can't do it due to OEP. OEP means that you can change a person that's on a Medicare Advantage plan to another Medicare Advantage plan, or you can change that person on a Medicare Advantage plan to original Medicare with a PDP plan, a Part D prescription drug plan. That's what you can do. You can do it one time. It's a one election. Essentially, what a one election means is you can make one change. Once the change goes into effect, or once it's used, really, OEP is a little different than others. Once it actually is used, it's used and it cannot be used again. And it also takes effect to the first of the upcoming month. So, for example, let's say I'm on a Medicare Advantage plan. I'm not, but let's just say that I am. And I enroll from a United Healthcare plan over to a Humana plan in January. My new plan will start the 1st of February. If I make that change in February, my plan will start the 1st of March, and so on and so forth. Last day you can make a change during OEP is March 31st. So how can you best capitalize on it? Because OEP has some interesting rules. A lot of rules that AEP does not have. AEP really, the floodgates come out in terms of advertising, marketing, right? There's commercials nonstop. Now, nowadays, there's commercials that seem to be going all year round. The Joe Namath, the William Shatner commercials, all these. You guys already know that. We've talked about that on this channel in ample excess. But essentially, what you need to be aware of when it comes to OEP is you cannot advertise for OEP. Zero. Zip. You cannot advertise for it whatsoever. It's against compliance regulations to advertise and say, hey, it's the open enrollment period. Contact me. I can maybe change your plan if you're not happy. Can't do that whatsoever. It's a big, big no-no, right? So, but what can you do during OEP? Because people always say, well, how can I really take advantage of OEP if I can't advertise for it, if I can't market for it? Well, here's the trick, and here's the nuance of it that you guys need to understand. This is what a lot of agencies are doing all around the country. I have plenty of my own agents that have told me the last couple of years since they started doing OEP that they have had more success during OEP than they have during AEP. Now, should that be the case? I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're going on vacation during AEP. I'm not quite sure. Me personally, I've always had more success during AEP than OEP just because there's less shackles on me during AEP. But essentially, during OEP, you can market and advertise for generic Medicare. Be like, hey, if you need help with Medicare, contact me. If you need help with your Medicare supplement, contact me. You can advertise for generic Medicare advertising. You can't advertise and say, hey, it's open enrollment, contact me, but you can advertise on the back of just Medicare. Contact me if you need help with Medicare, not mentioning OEP. And then once you talk to that person, once they contact you, or once they fill out a lead card and you contact them, whatever the case might be, then you can mention, well, hey, Mrs. Prospect, you're not satisfied with the plan you changed to during OEP last year. There is something we can do about that. That's how you can maximize OEP. So first things first, what you guys need to understand is there is no silver bullet, right? There is no one-size-fits-all marketing attack. There's just not, right? Everything works a little bit, nothing works a lot. And one thing you guys need to understand is it's a good idea to diversify your marketing. But what I would do if I were you guys and you really wanted to capitalize during OEP is you're going to be having a lot of AEP commissions coming in if you did work during AEP, right? You're going to be having that flood into your bank accounts in the next 30 days. So I would take, depending on how much you actually made, let's say you made $20,000, for example, or $30,000 or 40 or 50, whatever you made, let's just use the example of $20,000. What I would do if I was you is I would take 25% of that, at least. So that would be $5,000, right? So if you take 25% of that $5,000 and you commit it to marketing, leads, and advertising. Now, depending on what your style is, right? Depending on how you like to do business, this might vary in terms of what you do with the money. But how can you expect your business to grow if you're not willing to invest in it, right? If you treat your business like a business, it will grow like a business. If you're not willing to treat it like a business, it won't grow like a business. Now, sure, there are people out there that do such a great job with networking and do such a great job with grassroots marketing and things like that they don't need to spend the money like that. But in my opinion, I think you should be doing those things. I think they're vitally important. But in my opinion, I think that you need to have some marketing and advertising and budgeting put into your business. I think every great agency we can ever look at has done this, right? So what should you do? I've always been a big fan of having 5 different streams of lead sources, right? Now, if your brand spanking new, that might be hard for you to come up with 5, maybe come up with 3. But here's an example of 5 that I would do if I was doing OEP. I would put a little bit into direct mail. Now, everybody says that direct mail, the returns are low, things like that. But one thing that, in my opinion, is very important is if you are being creative with your direct mail, and you can do that if you're working with a great vendor who knows their stuff, who has experience, they can guide you on how to be creative. I'm not saying that you have to figure this out all by yourself, because direct mail game is something that people have taken decades to master, right? But if you get creative with your advertising, with your direct mail, if it's not the same old cookie cutter piece, you might be able to get people to call you from it. You might be able to see a little bit of a higher response rate if it just looks like something different than what people are used to and accustomed to. I still think that direct mail has a place. I think that direct mail leads, when you get them, they have the longest shelf life, meaning that you can contact them farther out than any other type of lead source, and they're still going to remember filling it out. They're still going to be willing to talk to you. And it's because it's not an instant gratification type of lead, right? They're filling it out, right? They're writing in their information. They're walking it out to the mailbox. They're placing it in the mailbox. And they understand that they're probably not going to hear anything for a couple of weeks. It has the longest shelf life. And that is vitally important. So I do believe you should put some of your marketing tech into direct mail. I think where some people get in trouble is when they're all 100% relying on direct mail, because the returns can be up and down, right? So I do believe that if it was me, I'd put a little bit in direct mail. The second thing I would do is I would probably work with some kind of telemarketing leads to some capacity, because I've grown affectionate for telemarketing leads. Lead Heroes is great, right? They're the sponsor of this video, which we talked about at the beginning of the video. You could do Lead Heroes. You could try to hire your own Filipino telemarketer, although I think that's rather difficult. But having some telemarketing leads would be something that I would probably look at doing. The third thing I would do is I would run Facebook ads, right? I would run targeted Facebook ads branded for my company. And I always am a fan of making a video and running the video of me. Now, you need to know how to do that first things off, right? You need to know how to run Facebook ads. So if you don't know how to run Facebook ads, maybe just experiment with it a little bit, but don't put a huge budget into it until you really feel like you know what you're doing. Also, Facebook ads are always changing. You can always buy them from a vendor, but it's going to cost you more. It's not going to be as high of intent to lead because it's not going to be branded for you. So that's something you can always be thinking about. The other thing you guys probably want to spend some of your money on is doing educational Medicare seminars, right? I think 2021 was a great year for Medicare seminars, right? We were coming out of COVID. We were essentially being put in a position where everybody wants to get out, do things. Everybody was cooped up and feeling like they can't go anywhere for all of 2022. We all know what that was like. But I think that's going to continue into 2022. I think the seminar wave is going to continue, and I think they're a great way to build your business and get people in front of you. Now, to advertise for a seminar properly, it's probably going to cost a bit of money. The people that I know that are doing it really well, and when we've done it, the way we've done it is we've advertised through direct mail. I've heard that people doing it really well nowadays are advertising through direct mail and also a combination of that and Facebook ads. I think that's a great way to go about it. And also, you should probably, if you're brand new to the business, and maybe you don't have all that funds that you can put forward towards a marketing attack or a lead attack, you need to essentially get that sweat equity going, right? You need to hustle a little bit. Now, how can you hustle? You can do networking, right? You can get in touch with your local chamber of commerce, right? All that stuff that you hear about that might sound cliche, but it does work, right? That's going to be vitally important. Network with other agents that don't do what you do. Try to form relationships. Try to get referrals. Referrals are the most powerful piece of business you can get. And that's a great way that you can grow your business. The other thing you can do is you can buy age leads and cold call them for Medicare supplements, right? I mean, it's just a step above normal cold calling because they've at least filled out a piece of information at some point. But I think anything you do that's going to essentially put some activity out there into the stratosphere, it's going to help you, because activity at the end of the day is what's going to help you accomplish your goal for OEP. Now, it's a great opportunity because essentially anybody that has Medicare Advantage, you can write them. And it's a great opportunity because you won't believe how many people were thrust into the wrong plan during AEP by a call center, Joe Namath company, something like that. And it happens all the time, right? In my home market here in Utah, they push people into the plans that have the smallest networks. I don't get it. They don't know anything about our area. That's why. They don't know anything about your area. You're going to run into tons of people that are already regretting their change once they've had to use it once, and they know they can't use their doctor, their prescription that was a tier 2 on their old plan's a tier 3 now. Like the details are going to be there. You're going to run into tons of people just by getting out there and being active that you can change, that are going to be eager to change, because OEP was essentially created for people that changed to a Medicare Advantage plan and they were deceived into it, lied into it, something changed, whatever the case might be, and they don't feel like they have to wait all the way till next fall to make a change. That's what OEP was really created for. They did it years ago, and they essentially went away with it, and then they came back with it a couple of years ago because the demand for it was so high. There was outrage. There was an outcry for people to be able to change outside of AEP for circumstances like that. So you can take advantage of that as an agent and be a resource for somebody and be helpful for somebody. That's going to be key. But you need to have multiple different streams of leads. You need to put together a marketing attack. You need to put together a marketing plan. How much are you going to put into each lead source, right? Now, in terms of the grassroots marketing, there's so many different ways that you can do grassroots marketing. One thing that I did, and I'll just share with you, when I lived in Florida, that worked really well for me, is I would partner up with 55 and up communities that just walk in, talk with the activities director, try to build a relationship with them. I've always told you guys that you're really going to be in a good position if you're trying to work with a doctor's office, a dentist's office, a 55 and up community, an assisted living facility, another agency's office, whatever the case might be. You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So if you show up right out of the blue with some bagels or some donuts for the staff and not asking anything, and you come back a week later and then you give your pitch, they're going to be much more warm to seeing you because you gave without asking, right? You did something that probably 99% of everybody else is not going to do. So that's something that's going to help you out a lot. But one thing I did was I partnered up with 55 and up communities when I used to live in Florida. I've done it a little bit here, but I've just gotten away from it. It's just time consuming. I don't seem to have the time that I used to running my company. But I recommend it to other agents. And what you do is you pitch them on the idea of running bingo for them or doing something that's known as a rock painting event. There was a Humana manager that I knew when I lived in Florida that taught me this, and it's paid off big for me. It's a great idea. You go to Lowe's and you get these $10 garden rocks or these smooth rocks, get some cheap paints, and you go do a rock painting event at their area. And you can say it's sponsored by your agency, right? Get a branded tablecloth and have it off. And then You wouldn't believe how many people will be willing to talk to you about your plan. This even works outside of OEP because you have a lot of people that are low income, LIS, dual people, right, that live in some of these 55 and up communities. There's so many ways that you can get business, guys. Just understand that you should be spending some money into your business. I'd spend whatever you can. And by doing this, also make sure to set a target for what you want to do, right? What's your goal for OEP? You want to write 100 apps during OEP? You can do it. Do you want to write 50 apps during OEP? You can more than do that, right? Set a target, do the math, figure out how many people you need to talk to be able to do that, and get to work, guys. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I tried to condense a very broad topic into a little video here. First video from the home office. I'm going to be going back and forth between the home office, the studio, for the office now. Now I'm just 2 minutes away from my office, so it's nice. But some videos I'll be at the studio in the office, and some videos I'll be at the studio here at my home office here. So we're going to be bringing you videos every day is the goal. Monday through Friday at least. We're going to try to do Monday through Saturday. So if you enjoyed this video, please do us a favor. It helps me out so much. Hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell so you're notified when we upload each day. And until next time, appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching.